Hello, everyone, and welcome to JoJo's Book Club. I'm JoJo, and I've got a great story to read to you today. Let's check it out. It's called Amy Wu and the Perfect Bao. I like to take a second just to look at the cover of the story to see if it gives us any hints about what might happen inside. What do you think is going to happen inside? Who could the story be about? Let's find out. Ooh, here are some more clues about what's going to happen in the story. This part's called the end paper, and sometimes there are pictures that give us little clues. Right here, the kitty says, it's bow like bow, not like bow. Sometimes people might have a difficult time understanding how to pronounce a word, and here the author gave us a hint. How nice! Amy Wu and the Perfect Bao by Kat Zhang and illustrated by Charlene Chua. This book was published by Aladdin. Amy can do lots of things. She can brush her teeth. She can tie her shoe. She can even do both at once, sort of. But there's one thing Amy cannot do. She cannot make the perfect bao. Sometimes they come out too small. Sometimes they come out too big. Sometimes she adds too much filling, sometimes not enough. And sometimes they fall apart before they reach her mouth. Amy's mom and dad make perfect bao. So does her grandma. Their bao are soft and fluffy and so delicious. Amy could eat them all day. Sometimes she does. Today, Amy is going to do it. She's going to make the world's most perfect bao. Bao making is an all-day event. Amy's dad starts in the morning, mixing together the ingredients for the dough. Then it's time to knead. He pushes the dough, he punches the dough. Amy gives it a try too. They leave the dough to rise. Amy keeps an eye on it just in case. It grows bigger and bigger and even bigger. Amy's dad squishes the dough down just in time. He rolls it into a log and cuts it into pieces. And here we see a picture of her mom working on the seasonings for the meat. It says, meanwhile, Amy's mom seasons meat for the filling. The ingredients are garlic, mushrooms, ginger, salt, and pepper. Everyone gathers around the table and rolls up their sleeves. It's time to get to work. Amy's first bao turns out a little funny. So does the second. It's hard to know how much filling to add. Too little, and the bao is sad and empty. Too much, and whoops! It's hard to pinch the bao just right. Pinch, pinch, pinch. You can tell by her face she's really focused. Amy watches her mom make a perfect bao. She watches her dad make a perfect bao. And her grandma, too. I like how her grandma has pink hair. I just noticed that. Her shirt is pink, her hair is pink, her glasses are pink. What do you think that tells us about Grandma? Anyhow, they all try to teach her. Roll out the dough like this, says Amy's dad. Use just enough filling, says Amy's mom. Pinch, 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 says Amy's grandma. But Amy's bao just aren't the same. They're too empty or too fat. They have holes in them. They leak. Maybe today won't be the day after all. Maybe Amy just can't make a perfect bao. How do you think she's feeling about that? Then Amy has an idea. The pieces of dough were cut for grown-up hands, but Amy's hands are very small. She whispers her idea into her grandma's ear. Grandma cuts each piece of dough into smaller pieces, Amy-sized pieces. Now they fit perfectly in Amy's palms. Carefully, Amy rolls the dough so it's thicker on the inside and thinner at the edges. She adds just the right amount of filling. She pinches it shut, and there it is, Amy's perfect bao. She makes another and even more after that. She is a bao-making master. Soon, all the dough and filling are gone. Everyone is tired, but they're not done yet. Amy's grandma boils a pot of water. It's time to steam the bao. Amy keeps an eye on the steamer just in case. All her perfect bao, and all the imperfect ones too, are snug inside. Imperfect is the opposite of perfect. It means not quite right. The bao are done. Amy's mom lifts the lid off the steamer. Whoosh! Out comes a puff of steam, and Amy can't see anything at all. The steam clears. There are Amy's perfect bao. They're not too small. They're not too big. They have just the right amount of filling, and they don't leak. They are soft and fluffy and so delicious. Amy eats one, then another. Then she eats one of the not-so-perfect bao. And you know what? It tastes just as good. And this is the end of our story. There are no words here, so can you tell me what you see happening? Amy is sharing her bao with her friends at school. And I noticed that not all of her friends are eating the same thing. I wonder what they felt about Amy's special treat. I would love to have one. At the very end of the book, the author gives us Amy's family recipe. This is how you could make 20 bao for yourself. Here's the first page of the recipe and the second page. So if you'd like to, you can pause or go back to check the recipe yourself and try to make it at home. Finally, the very last picture on the end page is a little bao with just a little bit of the filling peeking out. I think it looks pretty delicious. So what did you think of the story? I hope you enjoyed it. I have eaten bao before. My favorite place to get it is a restaurant in the area called Milake. Their bao are huge, but none of them look the same. They all taste great. Have you ever tried something over and over and over again and you just couldn't get it right? How frustrating. What do you do when you feel that way? Do you keep going? Do you ask for help? I wonder. Thank you so much for listening to today's story. I hope if you get a chance, if you've never done it before, I hope you go and try a bao. You can get them at the grocery store, you can get them at a restaurant, or you can try to make one yourself. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.